Billion rands worth of unlawful expenditure was spent by the State Security Agency's Special Operations Unit. It's a king's ransom. And that's the evidence of a witness identified only as Miss K at the Zondo Commission of Inquiry. She says the expenditure was undertaken without proper accounting and only done for the benefit of former President Zuma and other high-ranking officials. She's part of Project Veza, which probed criminal activities and irregularities within the agency between 2009 and 2018. It's a big story with big numbers. Barry Bateman's following proceedings yesterday. Barry, we heard about this special force established for Zuma. Today, more details emerging. How did all of this fit into the agency structure?
Yeah, good afternoon, Jeremy. Well, that's the thing. It didn't. This was a unit that was filled with resources, firstly from outside of the State Security Agency, and it was done so by the Thulani Dlomo, which is the former bodyguard of former President Jacob Zuma, even before he was employed at the State Security Agency. They had recruited people from KwaZulu-Natal. They didn't go through a formal SSA vetting process. They went through a process that was ultimately signed off by Dlomo himself. And it was provided with significant resources within the organization, which went on to undermine other efforts, legitimate efforts within the State Security Agency, which would have conducted proper intelligence work. So it was a significant drain on the resources. It didn't fit within the structure, and it conducted itself in an unlawful manner. But just take a listen to the way it was encapsulated here by the witness and Paul Pretorius.
The deployment of improperly vetted and trained individuals with exclusive reporting lines to Ambassador Dlomo and thereafter to the former president resulted in the creation of a personal force at the disposal of Ambassador Dlomo with state resources. Do you agree with that?
Yes,
statement?
I do.
It continues.
I agree with that, sir.
Thank you. It continues, during this period, the focus of the security cluster shifted from the security of all the people in South Africa to the security and tenor, it reads, of one individual, former President Zuma.
All right, Barry, so what we've learnt then, the Special Operations Unit conducting projects found to be unlawful and undermining the Constitution. Let's follow the money. How were the funds allocated to the unit to carry out these projects?
By cooking the books, Jeremy, as you would do. We're hearing now about details about the various projects engaged in, such as the one of providing VIP security to the likes of Sean Abrams, Dudu Myeni, and so on. People who weren't entitled to any VIP protection, which is ordinarily provided by the SAPS in any event. But the motivations you'd expect, you need money to go and engage in a project. You go to the person who pulls the purse strings, and you say, this is why I need money, and they sign it off, and you come back at a later stage and you say this is what it was spent on. Well, that kind of process and the detail required for the disbursement of funds simply wasn't there. For example, the motivations to get money, it was just generic and generalized terms that were used, and these were signed off. When it came to motivating or explaining where the money was spent, well, here's where the real cooking took place. If there was 30 million rand that was disbursed, they would go to a service provider who would generate 3 invoices, for example, of 10 million rand each for services rendered. And this was submitted, and it was accepted as a legitimate reason, and that was put in the books as having being allocated effectively for a particular project. So it was all about cooking the books, Jeremy.
It absolutely boggles the mind. Barry Bateman, thank you. This is Thursday lunchtime on eNCA.